I think at this point, everybody knows what BJJ Fanatics is. Gary, do you know what BJJ Fanatics is?
Yeah, I think if you're involved in this world at all, you know what BJJ Fanatics is.
Just checking if you haven't been on the rock.
I mean, if it's your second, third time on the mats, you probably don't know. But after that, I'm sure stuff is filtering into you.
But listen, so in November, I had privilege to work with those guys. The Gravity is Your Friend is out there available. But recently, I flew back to Boston to shoot two more. So those will be coming out very soon. If you're searching for my name on BJJ Fanatics, there's only one. Then a couple more are coming down the pipe. Keep your ears and eyes open as the things unfold.
Yeah, bjjfanatics.com. Check them out. Awesome videos. Hey, I'm wondering, do you have a place where we could go to ask all those questions that always come up in jiu-jitsu?
You are lucky. You are very, very lucky. Ask a Black Belt on all podcast platforms, plus our YouTube channel. What I do is essentially I collect questions that you might have and the questions that I've had for all this time being on the mat and record them as a short individual episodes, about 3-4 minutes long, and just put them out there several times a week. So make sure you go, you follow, and tune in.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. Subscribe, download, all that stuff, and get those answers to the questions you've always wanted to ask.
Welcome to Raw Radio.
And we laughed again.
Again? It's only because you didn't do the clap that I made you redo it.
I feel like becoming more and more casual on this thing is less formal, and
that's good.
We forget things.
That means it flows better, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
It's definitely flowing better than the episode one. That was a disaster.
It was. Well, what are you talking about?
We highly encourage you to go back into our archives and look and listen to some of the previous episodes. Don't go into number like first AD.
No, there's good nuggets in there from everybody.
Hey, listen, the first one was Alberto Crane. That was a good one.
Great stories. He's a fascinating guy, but
no second chances.
Right, no plan B. I don't think it's second chances.
Second
right?
option.
Yeah, so no like plan B. Right?
So okay, so let's dig into it, right? I mean, should you have a plan B? Should you have a fallback plan on your goals?
Man, it's hard to say, right?
Do you have option B? Do you have plan B?
Well, I need a plan A first.
All right. So on that note, we are wrapping this up. It was great talking to you guys.
So what we're talking about really is, our last guest didn't have, his goal was, as a purple belt, was to be an academy owner after he got his black belt, and he did it at a young age. And, he said no plan B. There was he said he had no second option. There was nothing else. That was his goal. He had to do everything he could to get there. And he was kind of singularly focused. And I think sometimes maybe if you do have a plan B, you have an out when things get difficult. You have your plan B. You have your, this is plan A is getting pretty hard. It's harder than I thought. Maybe it's not what I really wanted, and I can always fall back on this.
Yeah.
So it can almost be an excuse. I guess it really depends on what your plan A is. If your plan A is some really, almost a dream, almost a fantasy, well, then maybe it is good to have a plan B. But if it's something that's structured and set in,
his was dream, a fantasy. I
don't know what other way. Let's say you want to be an actor or an actress, or you want to be a musician. That is a lot of times that's dependent on what others think of you. Where if you want to be an academy owner,
it's dependent on others taking your service.
No,
I'll
it's
argue
not.
that. Yes.
No, it's not. If you want to be, you have to be chosen to be successful at those things.
Nah,
It
I
doesn't
disagree.
matter how good you are. There's
I
a lot
disagree.
of guys that
there's a
can't
lot
get
of-
a job.
There's a lot of crappy actors out
There
there.
are who are working and making a ton of
But
money.
that's my point.
And there's
no
a
matter
lot of
what-
really great ones that are sitting by the sidelines at every audition, not getting the job. And so there's more rejection in those type of fields where I feel like if you have something that's a little more concrete, it's a business. And what do I need to get there?
I think being an actor is a business too.
It
I
is.
I think we disagree
is.
on this one.
Well, that's fine.
We've been agreeing
But
for a
that's
while.
not-
I think this
yeah.
one we are.
But
part.
I mean, that's not. I mean, that's not the topic at hand so much. But I think that when you have something that is, I think that being a small business owner, getting your black belt, I think those things are a little more tangible, and there's not as much rejection from other people that leads or stops your progress and your success. There's not as much luck involved, I don't think. He did talk about the right place at the right time, being able to learn from somebody like Marcelo, who not only is a great competitor and a great instructor, but also a good businessman, successful academy. But they who came out of Alliance, who did that already before him. So I think that when you have a plan B in that situation, it's probably a little easier when things aren't going your way and you're hitting certain obstacles or challenges to say, well, you know what, I got a degree in this or that, or I'm a CPA and I can just, clock in and clock out at my 9 to 5 or whatever. You can start building excuses as to why it's going to be easier for you to quit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. Don't have a plan B then.
Well, plan B is a plan B. Plan B is a safety net.
Mm-hmm.
It is something to fall back on. It is a second opportunity to reset without much impact. That's what plan B by default is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So having one gives you that safety net, and it does allow you to make a decision at any point of time to redirect and go the other route.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Is that a good thing? Well, I don't know. That will depend on the person and on the circumstances, I think.
Yeah,
But,
and probably over time.
right, over time.
That's all.
And I think there's a fine line of that becoming an excuse not to drive for what you wanted. But at some points, in some circumstances, that might be what saves individuals from going homeless, right? I mean,
It could.
So plan B is a plan B. If you have one, it will save you from the drastic situation of being on the street or not being able to provide for your family. Not having a plan B definitely is a higher risk situation where some of these very impactful circumstances could, literally collapse you. At the same time,
So is that a motivator?
I don't know.
Then?
And I think this is that depends on the personality, I think.
Right.
I do want to say this, kind of leading into what you were talking about. I do think that no matter what your goal is, everything is up to you. You don't get lucky. I don't believe in getting lucky. Even you're an actor, you don't get lucky. You don't. I think no matter whether you, lay brick or you do electrical plumbing, and we know plumbers. Shout out to plumbers out there. You know who you are. But, whatever you do, you don't get lucky. Everything that you set, every milestone and step you make within your path sets you closer or sets you apart from your goal.
Sure.
Okay, so, if you're an actor, people you meet, those people will set you closer for you to become a mainstream actor. Right, whoever you have dinners with, whatever hands you shake. And I'm not an actor. I don't know what the acting business
this
is.
It's something we don't really know.
Right, but I don't know anything about it. But I do believe that whatever profession you are or you want to be, nothing happens randomly. Everything is set based on the who you surround yourself with, and the decisions that you make in those circumstances.
Right. And I think you start creating your own opportunities.
You creating your opportunities.
Right.
Okay?
So he said right place, right time,
Right.
working for Marcelo.
Right.
But everything he did leading up to getting to being there, training there, and working there,
This
is what
like,
led him there.
right. These are like these conversations of, and we're kind of deviating from the no second option and no plan B, but this is kind of these conversations where you have, sometimes we find ourselves having with individuals where they say, well, so-and-so was lucky because they had this and this and this and this in their life.
I mean, sometimes you get a better start, you get a better jumping off point than other people. Somebody who wants to own their own academy, whose dad was a small businessman, might have a better opportunity or a better starting point, better reference point, than somebody whose dad wasn't around, let's say,
I'm with you.
So I think that, yes, I don't know. Where were you going? You pick it up.
All I'm saying is that if you want to be successful, it doesn't matter what it is, you got to grind it. You got to shut up and you got to grind it. You got to put the work in. There's nothing is accidental. You don't get lucky. You don't. I'm sorry. We just lost all those listeners. I get it. You don't get lucky. You got to grind it. Whether you're an academy owner, actor, or I don't know, electrician. It doesn't matter. You have to grind it. You got to shake hands. You got to smile. You got to get up and you got to go to work. Nothing will ever get done without you. Everything that people will compliment you on has already been accomplished. People never compliment you on things you're about to do. They compliment you on the work that you have done. So that's why grinding is hard. That's why being an entrepreneur is hard. That's why starting your own business, doesn't matter what it is, it's hard because nobody's giving you a pat on the back while you're grinding. They give you a pat on the back when you are done, when there's success, you achieve a certain milestones. They see the result of it. That's the hard part. That's why grinding is hard because there's nobody next to you. Friends show up when you have success.
So what happens when you have your plan B and you fall back on it? Is it because of failures? Is it because you didn't really want it?
Well, and I think this is where the personality and the drive and some of that comes in, because one will see, listen, I didn't have a choice. I had to make this decision to fall back because it was so impactful on me, my family. We were not able to make a success, and they will look at it as a strategic point. Or others will look at it as, I will do this no matter what, and my family will struggle. We are in this for together, but no matter what, I will go over and beyond to continue driving for the success. And I mean, you can look at these situations from two different perspectives, and it's individual decision to whether you fall back on plan B or you don't have one, or you do have A, B, C, D plans, right? I think it's part of that system that you develop. But there's plenty of companies, large companies, like from the top of my head, I mean, Elon Musk, Tesla, they literally change things within 24 hours of calling bankruptcy. And look at Tesla today. Like, if these decisions wouldn't take place, who knows what would happen? I don't know. I don't know Tesla on the inside. But the point is, you can read about these situations where people were on the verge of losing everything in their life, and they somehow turned it around because of the decisions they made. I don't suggest that anybody goes to that level of risk, but it has happened in the past, right? So, what do you think?
Well, I hate Elon Musk. I'll say that. And I don't hate him. I just think that people don't see. And this isn't bad, but he was given opportunities that people don't hear about or know about, and he was helped financially and things like that.
Sure.
But to go back to what you said, what did he do before that to have people put their faith in him in that way, right?
Well,
if he was half-assing it the whole time, nobody would have done it.
And that's
right?
my point. And I'm not saying that things were not easy because of the relationships that he had. It was. Clearly, he and many others, thousands of others, have achieved success in business because of friends they had.
Yeah.
But the point is, if they didn't have these friends,
or
they would-
government, right? And
or-
I mean, but my point is with that is that they're going to, a lot of times you get bailed out because of what you did right.
correct.
Even though some things aren't going right at the moment, you can get bailed out because of all those things, you know, that led up to that failure that you did right. And people see that and they're like, you know what? This is somebody who deserves a helping hand. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So not having a plan B, I guess you better make sure that you have your ducks in a row. Otherwise,
Right.
people are going to look at you and say, I'm sorry, but instead of we can help get you through this.
Right.
I don't think anybody ever does anything on their own. I really don't.
No,
I don't.
It's impossible.
And there's a lot of people out there that'll say, oh, so-and-so is a self-made man. Well, it might look that way. However, friends, family, business associates, all those people helped him along the way.
No,
And,
I
you know,
believe that we cannot establish, you know, a level of achieving goals of success by ourselves. We need a crew around us.
Yeah.
Might be small or large, but we need people to help us simply because we're not capable of doing everything by ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and this is where having relationships and having these connections and having people's quote unquote like us, because that's what it's all about, who will help us when we need them the most at those points. And from the outsider perspective, this might not look fair. And again, we go back to that conversation that we had just a month ago or so. It's like, life is not fair. It shouldn't be. It is
No.
not. And if you think it should be, whatever, then don't get me started on this. But it's not fair. And some of us have it easier than others. But no matter what, if you want success, you got to grind it. You got to put your head on and go
Just,
to work.
I don't, yeah. And I mean, we could go off on a tangent here about all that. But I just think that if you don't have a plan B, you better be really clear on what you want to get out of plan A.
Well, and I want to say, and we kind of switch this off, you know, something that investing your time into plan B is taking away time from your plan A, you know, from your primary focus. And something that by doing so, you're setting yourself for failure. Now, again, I'm not saying that not having a plan B is a good idea. What I'm saying is you have certain amount of time, certain amount of effort, and certain amount of resources that you dedicate in towards whatever you want to do. Right? This is like Jiu Jitsu. Let's bridge this into Jiu Jitsu. I want to work on a half guard, but I really, 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 really like back control. So you can only dedicate X amount of time into Jiu Jitsu in general. So how are you going to divide this time? Are you going to focus on something that you really want to achieve, or use something that, you know, comes, you know, more naturally? It's safer, you know, and there's no right or wrong, but you split your time into two separate buckets. And now the question is, which choice is better? Do you want to work on both of them at the same time? Or do you want to 100% focus on something that you really want to dedicate yourself to? And then draw the conclusions from there once you achieve those goals.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's do you want to get better? Do you want to get better at it, or do you want to get great at it? Like, there's all those little things that come into play.
I'll tell you this. Distraction is number one, in my mind. Distraction or lack of focus is number one reason why we fail in things. And I'm not talking about jiu-jitsu or life. I'm talking about in general. Lack of focus. Not being focused on what we really, really want to achieve. So, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you if plan B is a good thing.
We all know Mom wants us to have a plan B.
I didn't have a plan B.
Yes, you did. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but you did.
I didn't.
You did.
It's going to go into longer takeaway, but I didn't. No, I didn't.
But you had some place that if things weren't working out, you were still going to support your family. You were still, you still had a career and a decent one too.
Not after we converted. Not after I start working full time at
no.
the
While
academy.
but some other people, their opening an academy was working in an academy, learning at that particular.
See, and I don't
academy,
look at it that way.
You know,
See, maybe that's how it's being viewed from the outside.
yeah.
But when the academy opened, I was departing from my job. My job was never to stay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a different. I don't look at it as Plan B.
I could see why you would say that, but so there's a Plan B, and then there's also that safety net, which maybe are two different things.
Maybe.
Where if the doors here closed, you still had a career doing other things.
You have skills, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but
you could go back to that, I guess.
I suppose I could go back to.
But if you have nothing to go back to, then that's, to me, is a real.
So by definition, what
plan
you're
B.
saying, we always have a Plan B.
No, not really. Not really. Because if you look at somebody like
You always have skills. You always have things that you can do. You can always do things that you've done in the past.
but
So that's your Plan B.
But what if Plan B does not give you the things you need to survive? Then is it really a Plan B? If Plan B is all I've done is work towards this goal of opening an academy by working at academies, by training and competing, and working at an academy and competing do not support my family, then I don't know if you have a Plan B.
I don't know.
You know, it's complicated.
It is. It's life.
I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
It's life. It's complex.
It is.
It's complex.
All right, let's leave it to the smarter people.
Let's leave it to the smarter people. If you have a goal, go chase it. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go. All right, peace.
Later.
Thank you for listening to Raw Radio. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to leave us a review and help us make the show even more amazing. For future episodes, check out our website and follow us on all major podcast platforms. Take care.